Hey guys, Austin here, and welcome to another Pixelmon guide here on the channel. Today, I'm going to be going over exactly how to track and complete quests within the Pixelmon mod. I should mention ahead of time that the version I'm recording this on is the development version, so the things that I'm showing off here might be bugged in the version you're playing in, or vice versa. So just ahead of time, keep in mind that things change every Pixelmon update. I'm recording this in Pixelmon version 9.1.6. Hopefully everything is still the same in 9.1.5, which is the official release version right now, and it goes on to be the same. But hopefully this guide will be helpful to you all. Consider leaving a like, subscribing if you're new, and let's get into this. So, Pixelmon quests. If you do not know, whenever you start off your world in a village, or if you find a village in Pixelmon, you have the chance to encounter different NPCs which will have different quests available to you. They are very rare to find at times, but also it really much depends on just being random. So there's different types of quests. There's the standard quests, which are yellow, the repeatable quests, which are blue, which means you can constantly repeat these several times to get the rewards. The yellow quests are only able to be completed once. The green quests, which are instantly completed quests, which means the minute you do the quest, it will complete immediately, and those are given to you by default when you start your world. The legendary quests, which are red, which normally encounter legendary Pokemon or unique Pokemon. And finally, the Dynamax quest, which is purple, which you only get that once, and that is how you get the Dynamax band in Pokemon. Now, the thing that's tricky about this is, for those who don't know, quest tracking is sort of up in the air. It does work sometimes it doesn't work, and there's a very minute detail that not a lot of people know that is radius based with quests. But first, I'm going to show you how to view the quest. So if you look at the bottom right hand corner of my Pokemon screen, you'll see a gray exclamation mark with two keys inputted. I recommend ahead of time going to your controls, going to options, scrolling down to Pixelmon, and making sure that the open quest UI is set to something that isn't conflicting, and the toggle quest journal is set to something that isn't conflicting. For me, it is N and the apostrophe. So if I hit N on my keyboard, you will see my quest tab will open. You can view the history of quests, and you can track quests. So as you can see, the green start quests are the default quests I am given at start. Use a healer, harvest a red apricorn. If I do something like use a healer, which I'm about to do right over here just to show you, it will auto-complete the quest. So as you can see, I'm using the healer, and right then and there, completed, and it should have given me the completed quest, but I think as I'm in creative mode, it didn't. There is times where it doesn't track the quest perfectly, and it can get a little buggy. Speaking of tracking, if I hit the button on my keyboard that is bound to scrolling through the quest at the bottom right, you can see they do change depending on the different icons. Now, when you see an exclamation point, that means you have claimed a quest that is still something you have not completed. For example, Eye of the Beholder, Find the Stronghold. If it is a question mark, another man's trash, it means you have completed the quest. And I did the liberty of completing this quest off camera just so I could show you the tracking capabilities. But before I do that, I want to show you what it looks like in the world itself. So the NPC that is giving a quest right now is all the way over here. You can see he has an exclamation mark over his head. If I click him, he'll say, "Can you defeat 250 Pokemon for me?" I'll click yes, I can. And he'll say, "Yep, good, goodbye." And as you can see, it deletes from his head. So it does recommend on the Pixelmon Wiki page itself to mark down the coordinates of these people, because obviously you're in a Minecraft world. If you're not playing with a minimap mod or a means of teleporting through areas, it is good to mark down the coordinates, but keep in mind these NPCs do wander away from the village at times. Like you can see, if you were in this village right here, that guy is all the way over there. You might not even see him if you're in a regular world. I'm in a super flat world just to make this a little easier to note. And again, keep in mind that each quest is rarity based, so some quests are harder to find than others, especially the Dynamax quest, which is pretty needed if you want to ever Dynamax in Pokemon. I'm going to show you exactly how to locate a quest right now. So I'm going to switch my tracking to a quest that I've completed, being the other man's trash quest. If I click track, you will now see that it is at the bottom right hand corner of my screen, and it is a question mark. Now, if I enter the radius at which this guy was, okay, so as you can see, the bottom right corner, it has begun tracking. Now, what's very crazy about this is there is a radius at which it'll start tracking quests. As you can see, if I move closer to the town over here, the arrow that's displaying turns to a question mark. So I would say it's about 100 block radius for being able to track the quest. But as you can see, once I've entered that range, I am able to just sort of go over to the man. And as you can see, it does point to him, and he has the question mark above his head. Again, question mark means that you can claim the quest, and the arrow is pointing to him as it should, which will track him. Keep in mind, NPCs like to run around and sort of navigate to strange places. I've found NPCs actually underground in caves miles below the town they were supposed to be spawning in, and it wasn't tracking correctly because they were too far away. So whenever you find him, as you can see, I've right-clicked him. It says, "Thank you for letting me know about this. Good job." And he's given me the reward that was promised to me. And he immediately switches to another quest, this one being a legendary one. So again, I can click it. You may have heard a rumor about this story, blah, blah, blah. You can tell it to him, and he gives you the next quest, which is Electric Eagle, which is for Zapdos. So quest tracking, it's a little bit iffy on how it manages, but just keep in mind, if you guys are in the radius of about 100 blocks, it will track correctly. It will have an arrow pointing exactly to where you can go to track the quest. Now, what it has said, like I said on the wiki page, you do want to make sure you are writing down coordinates or keeping track of it some way, just so you can get back to the area, because 100 block radius for quest tracking, guys, that's not that big of a radius. You're never going to get to that area again, especially if you haven't have anything marked down. So just keep that in mind whenever you are doing some of these quests, because the more important ones like Dynamaxing, that quest is pretty necessary. And the fact that you have to wait until you're within 100 block radius to find the NPC again, unless you're just living in only one town, you're never going to know where that guy is. You know what I mean? So it can get a little tricky to find quests, and I know that has been something a lot of people have been questioning and being like, what's the point of having this in the mod if it's hard to track them? Keep in mind, guys, quest tracking and quests in general in Pixelmon have existed for years now, and they haven't had a chance to update it because they just recently gone to 1.16. They're finalizing everything else, and they did say that eventually they do plan on fixing, or I should say revamping, the quest system, but for now, this is how it's going to work. This center really wants to fight me. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that's all there is really to do for tracking quests. Just got to make sure you have the keybind set correctly, and you should be able to just claim quests and track them as long as you're within the range to tracking them. You know what I mean? And one more thing that does say on the wiki page specifically is, if you're tracking an NPC's quest and you move too far away, and by that I mean tens of thousands of blocks away, there is a chance that an NPC closer will adopt the quest that you are trying to complete, in which case you will be able to complete it at a different area. So just keep that in mind. If you're a person that likes exploring millions of blocks in your world, there is a chance that the NPCs will migrate at least the quest that you're trying to track to a closer NPC to make it more manageable. I've only seen this happen about once so far, so just keep that in mind that it is something that can occur. It's just something you got to look out for. But if there's a certain quest you're trying to track, always keep it on the tracking grid at the bottom right. It doesn't matter if you complete it or not, just keep it there so you always know what you need to track. And then once you get to the point where you need to find the NPC again, it just helps to be able to locate the arrow. Even if it is only a 100 block radius, you'll know once you get to that area. Either way, though, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you all. I know it's a little tricky, and I'll try to answer any questions you guys have in the comment section down below. But I will also leave in the description the link to the quest wiki page. You guys can read up on the stuff for yourself, see if there's something that's helpful to you. And keep in mind that every Pixelmon version is different. They do change stuff around occasionally, so there's a chance that something could be bugged out or not working in the version you're playing in. But for me personally, it was working. You guys saw I was able to get it all to work. And one more thing they did say is, if you are playing on a server, if you're playing on a multiplayer Pixelmon server that's created by someone else or your friends or whatever, keep in mind that things can be set up differently, because you are able to customly create Pixelmon quests within the mod. If you're in creative mode, you can make that up. And I know a lot of servers do things like that. So if you're someone that's playing on a server and you're like, well, this isn't working for me, keep in mind the server people might have it changed and working differently. So that's something you might have to ask them versus, you know, me or the mod creators themselves. You know what I mean? Either way, though, I hope this video was helpful to you all. I hope someone learned something new today. If you did learn something, if this was helpful, consider leaving a like on this video, subscribing to the channel. I do a bunch of Pixelmon and modded Minecraft content. Feel free to check it all out, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Goodbye.